Um, right, so, well, yeah, this is another one. And I think today I just sort of really want to go over why I think 2025 has been, well, the worst year in recent memory. Um, I mean, the 2020s themselves have really not been good. Um, and this isn't obviously unique to me. Around 2020 time, we had, what was it, COVID, so Um, yeah, a lot of people were personally affected by that, either through actual casualties, illness, firsthand, or they were struggling with their mental health from being stuck inside during lockdowns, especially in the UK, because we handled that incredibly poorly. Um, and unfortunately, that trend has sort of continued throughout the 2020s. It started to get better around sort of 2022, 3-ish, maybe even 4. But this year it's kind of gone. Um, well, I mean, the beginning of this year has not been terrible. Um, it's very average, I think, would be fair to say. But it wasn't anything spectacular, and then, well, you sort of, you're starting to get older, like I am, when you're faced with the mortality of your loved ones and those close to you. Um, and so, well, this year around August, my mum lost her partner. Um, Complications after surgery. For privacy of both her partner and my mum, I won't go into too much detail. But I mean, I didn't. She lived with us for a couple of years, or a year and a half, something like that. I don't really know. The time sort of starts to blend together when you're as destitute as me. And during that period, I'd never seen my mum happier than she was, and it was obviously really nice to see her happy in that sense. Um, but I mean, due to the way I am, I keep myself very private, especially to new people. It can take me years to fully open up to someone, and I don't think I ever truly fully opened up to a partner. I mean, we got on, we were civil, and we were friendly to each other, but I never really came to her for anything. Um, I just did things. I sort of it's saying treating her like she wasn't there sounds a bit harsh. It's not like that. I was always vocal and friendly whenever she would make conversation, but it just felt like she was another person in the house, not someone that like was truly there, you know. But that's not her problem. That's a me problem. Um, and so because of this, I mean, I didn't take the bereavement as hard as she did. Um, what sort of mainly affected me was more the fallout of everything. Um, I sort of think it took me a while to sort of process that. I think I am still processing it. Um, Like, it was weird having the house be so silent. Because usually they'd be downstairs, sort of laughing away at some random crap while I'm upstairs, obviously doing whatever I'm doing. And you'd be able to hear that. And, well, obviously you can't anymore. It's just quiet. And it's been a few months. This happened in what, late July, early August, or mid-August. I can't even remember now. But I'm still not really used to the house being that quiet. And I still think, well, obviously my poor mum, she's still got some residual, well, she's still grieving. Well, she's trying her best to hide it, because obviously I'm her son, and she doesn't want to see, well, seem weak to the one person she has to sort of really care for. And I can respect that, but I know that she is hurting. And I don't want to make this about myself. You know, this isn't about me. You know, this, like I say, it wasn't really my loss. Like, I definitely lost things because of this, and it has sort of made me have to take a step back and think of a few things. But it wasn't my loss. She wasn't my mum. She wasn't my partner. She was just a woman that happened to live in the house for me. But I think what hurt the most was just, it was seeing, I think if I was a bit stronger, my mum wouldn't have to appear so strong. It feels like, I know a lot of her situation is down to sort of, well, a lot of the way she's reacted is down to the fact that, you know, this is still a shock for her, and there are certain things that she needs to, like, process and whatnot, which is absolutely fair enough. But I just think if maybe I was a bit stronger and a bit more self-sufficient, she wouldn't have to put up so many defenses to, well, to her feelings, if you will. Like, she has to sort of stay strong because I'm weak. And I just think that maybe she could have actually not processed everything by now, but I'm pretty sure it's still not hit her. And maybe it would have if I could have been there a bit more. But unfortunately, due to the way I am, and the way that I always have been and always will be, it's hard to describe. I never really saw, I feel really selfish for even admitting this, but I never really saw how she needed to feel. I always just sort of, I put my own survival first, and trust me, I hate that I do that, but it's just how I'm conditioned. Like, my sense of empathy isn't really great for things that I haven't first-hand experienced, and bereavement of a partner is something I have never, and hopefully will never, experience. So I think because I don't get it, I just sort of shut myself off from it, and that's not made her life any easier. If anything, quite the contrary. And I feel like a massive dick because of it. It's one of those where I feel like I could have done more, or could do more, because obviously we're still sort of in the fallout of everything. But I don't know. It's such a tough call, because, well, I'm still in the midst of it. I can't really say, oh, from the power of hindsight, you know, I can't really do that. It's just a sort of, well, I'm having to take things by ear, really. I think for me as well, it's just, again, I feel really selfish for even making this like an issue, but it's just, I think my problem right now is that because of all this has gone on, I've had a lot of time to sort of reflect and think, and I've sort of come to the conclusion that it has affected me, but in a, well, that's not really what I'm trying to say. I can't think of exactly what I want to say. It's like, because I am already so useless. Like, I don't work. I can barely function. Like, I can't really do household chores that well. Like, I need to be prompted to do them, and even if I do get prompted, the chance of me actually doing them is slim, and then the chance of me actually doing them well is even slimmer. I'm not very good at. Again, it's hard to describe. I'm not very good at Well, I say I'm not very good. I quite literally a lot of the time just can't function. That's just, I can't do it. There's just something in my mind that prevents me from actually doing something. And as unfortunate as that is just how I am. And I live with that daily. And so I think that makes me feel worse, because I can see that she's struggling, but I can't do anything about that. I'm powerless, and yet I still complain like I'm being pushed to my limit, which I think I am, but I just feel so guilty for complaining that I'm being pushed to my limit, because, well, I shouldn't be. Like, I'm not doing anything, but yeah, I still feel like I'm doing everything. It's such a hard feeling to describe, but I can't think of any other way to describe it. I'm so useless that I can't do things for myself, and yet the woman that just lost her soulmate is having to still bend over backwards because I can't just get my shit together. And that just makes me feel so guilty. And so that has really, really weighed on me this year. That's not been fun to deal with at all. And like I say, I know I must just sound like a massive arsehole because this isn't my loss, and yet somehow it's my problem. And so I don't feel like I'm allowed to complain, even though I feel like I'm being stretched thin. I know the whole argument of, oh, well, your 100% might be someone else's 30. And yeah, I do feel like that is the case, but that doesn't make me feel any better. I just feel so out of my depth all the time. And it just, man, it hurts. Because I want to do more, but I can't. Because of my stupid fucking mind. Like, it gets in the way. Like, I can't really describe just how much I absolutely despise that. But, I mean, I can't do anything about it. Unfortunately, that is how I am. And I think waking up with that every day just makes you feel so much worse. But there's nothing I can do for that. You know, I try things to make myself feel better, and I push myself to do things even if I think they won't work. But at the end of the day, I'm still reliant on someone that clearly needs help. And I feel bad that I can't just give her the time to say, you know what, focus on yourself for a bit. Like, I'm still bending over backward, or I'm still asking her to bend over backwards to accommodate me because I can't do anything for myself, and I fucking hate it. It is so demoralising. But, I mean, that's not the only reason, I suppose, this year has been really crappy. Well, my dad, he's always been a bit flaky during my life, for want of a better word. I don't hate him, I never have, and unless he does something really drastic, I never will. He's done some things that I think make me think I should hate him, but in a way I don't, because I can sort of understand why he did them from his perspective. But his health has been rapidly declining over the past, well, few years, but this year exceptionally. Well, this and last year. He was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes about 10, 11 years ago. About when I was 13, I think. And with that, well, because of his situation that he was in at the time, he couldn't really take care of it. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but obviously, having known him, I can sort of say, you know what, yeah, fair enough. But even when he could start to take care of it, he didn't. And it's gotten to the point now where it's kind of too late to really change things and turn them back. He had to have surgery a year or two ago to remove part of his foot, so that's obviously been quite difficult. He can't drive, and now he is essentially blind. And if he isn't now, then he will be very, very soon. So that's well, not fun to deal with. But I think what hurts the most is that I used to tell him sort of issues, and he would always sort of shut me down, so I stopped doing that. And I think because of that, obviously, we've become very, very estranged over the years. When I'm sort of just desperate to have a father figure. And so we don't really talk much. But whenever we do, it's just, there's always a new issue. And so I've got this on my mind where I feel like I'm just the most useless son in the world, and then, well, to the one parent that I know actually definitely gives a shit, and then the other one that is starting to try is slowly dying. Well, not slowly, quickly. With the amount of new problems he says he has, it's just, I have this awful feeling that, like, in a year's time, I'm gonna be a parent down. But I think what I feel worst about is that because we're so estranged, I'm not even gonna feel sad. and that is tearing me up inside. Like, yeah, I mean, I know obviously he's not been the greatest father in the world, but he's definitely not been the worst. And I think, well, the root cause of a lot of my issues is problems I've had with him and people in his life as well. And I've only now just started to get to the point where, like, we don't really talk much still, but he's starting to sort of see the error of his ways and correct stuff. And now, as soon as that happens, it's now nigh on impossible for us to continue that, because he can't get out, I can't get out, I can't drive, he can't drive, and the one person that can drive him, I never want to see again. And so I feel stuck and defeated. And, well, the likelihood is that it's only going to get worse. It's the fact that, knowing out of everything that has happened with him now, right now, when he's this sort of bad, is the best he's going to be. And I have absolutely zero way to capitalise on that. And I think, knowing that I'm quickly losing my opportunity at sort of building an actual bond with him is slowly, well, it's quickly slipping away. It's just, well, it takes its toll on you mentally. I mean, anybody that's had issues out there with a parent would know. It's just, I feel like I'm quite unique in that sense among people I know. But I'm the only person I know that parents have divorced. Everybody else in my friend group, their parents are still happily married, and yet I'm Mr. Broken Family over here. And so I can't talk to any of them about it, because one, I don't like to burden them, and two, even if I could talk to them about it, they're not going to understand. They got divorced when I was, 7? And obviously when you're a kid that young, you just sort of think everything that happens between them is down to you. And that's exactly what happened to me. I crumbled. I thought it was down to me, because they kept telling me, well, we were arguing about you and things that we need to do for you. And I'm just like, well, you'd be a lot happier in that sense if it weren't for me. And that just sort of, I don't think that ever really went away. Well, like I say, I'm 24 now. I'm going on to 25 in 5 months, and the one chance I sort of get at rekindling a lost relationship with my own father, I can't. And that hurts a lot. I mean, it just sucks. I can't really say exactly why. I can't articulate that. But I just sort of think that maybe they have not got divorced because, well, of everything. They used to argue about me and whatnot. Maybe he would have never had to move out, and maybe he wouldn't be in this situation where he's essentially, he's fucked. Everything sort of just roots back to that one event. of when they split all those years ago. And as much as they like to say otherwise, I was at the forefront of this. They said it themselves. They used to argue about what was right for me. And so I was always at the forefront of these arguments. And so I just sort of... I did cause it, pretty much. As much as obviously I'd like to say otherwise, and my actual brain is saying, you know what, it's just not you though, is it? There's always that nagging feeling in the back of your head that's saying, you know what, yeah, you did play some part in this. You know, it might not be as bad as you make it out to be, but there is a part of this that is down to you. And, yeah, that's absolutely right. They can try and convince me otherwise all they want, but it's not gonna work. I know that if it hadn't have been for the way that they argued about what was best for me, they would probably still be alright. Or it would have ended a lot more amicably, and he might have been able to sort himself out with something different. And unfortunately, we will never know. It's just, well, nature of the beast, really, isn't it? But I suppose that is just, well, that is what it is. There's nothing that can be done now. I just have to sort of reap the consequences all these years later. And despite everything that has happened, I don't think I'm ever going to feel in a position where I'm, like, truly better. I'm always going to be left wondering what could have been. And that does eat me up inside all the time. I can't really describe how much that sucks, but it really sucks. Like, for those of you that obviously have been in that situation, you'll know, but for those of you that aren't and don't really understand, you might have a baseline idea, but that just eats away at you. And like I say, I've been in, well, like I said in my first video on this channel, I've been in therapy since I was, well, for God knows how long. Probably since I was about 9, 10. And it's been on and off all my life, and, well, no one has been able to help. Well, long term anyway. And so I just keep sort of coasting on, hoping that something will click into place one day, but the more time goes on, the more my hopes are dwindling. No, I've basically come to accept that I will probably never have a full-on father-son relationship with my dad anymore, but there's still a nagging feeling in the back of my mind that's saying, hopefully, some, like, miracle cure will come out. He'll be able to get his eyesight back. He'll be able to, I don't know, get a prosthetic for his foot. He'll be able to start driving again, and we'll be able to, I don't know, go out and see a film every week or something. Just to start. But I know deep down, truthfully, I'm just kidding myself, and that will never happen, and, well, I'm gonna be a useless son without a father. Not exactly a great end to 2025, but, well, never know. Maybe 2026 will be the year. I doubt it, though. Until then, however, I'm going to call it here. I've basically talked about all I want to talk about. Got everything off my chest, so, yeah. I'll see you all next time, I guess. Bye-bye.